Hello, this is Product Launch Workshop, live session number 3. And what we're going to be talking about in this product workshop, launch workshop, we're going to be working through the technical aspects of your product launch. We're going to assume that you've already figured out your product components or the content. We're going to assume that you already know what you'll be writing as your copy. And we can make some suggestions to you about format. We're going to do that tonight. But you should already know what your product is about and how you are going to write your copy. We're going to set up the product launch, the upsells, and the email marketing. Okay, so the order of operations. This is the order in which you should do things for your product launch. First, you should map out and set up your product funnel. So in other words, what's going to be your upsell, what's going to be your second upsell, if you're going to have one. And we've kind of talked through the format of that. You want to do this before you create the product, and because it will affect how you create the product. It will affect what you put in your offer in terms of a bonus. So before you set out, right, before you actually do the recording or you do the PDFs or any of that, map out your product funnel. And I realize that that is counterintuitive to maybe the way that you might do it. I know that a number of people are even talking about this, but it is the way that you will create something that you know people are going to buy, because you're going to start with that, right? You're going to determine what people are going to buy, and then you're going to go back and actually create the product as opposed to the other way around. Then once you've done your marketing funnel, outline your sales copy, right? Outline your sales copy. And I have said this on past calls. If you have any problem with that, you can use David Fry's 12-step bulletproof sales letter. That's a classic. I think it's a classic guide that you can use in order to create a sales letter. And if you have never written copy before, if you follow that guide, you can create a decent sales letter just if you try to follow what he's saying in that guide. Once you have completed your sales copy, you should be starting the product creation process. So this is when you will start creating the videos or the PDF, or you will start creating the software. But none of that comes until after the funnel and the sales copy. I cannot stress that enough to you, because you will get to the end of the process and you will wonder, now, how am I going to make this fit the market? When you want to be doing that during your product creation process. Once you start the product creation process at the very beginning, that is when you should be outsourcing or creating your graphics. If you're going to outsource, you should be contacting a designer at that point. Do not wait until you have completed your product. Do not wait until you have completed things to start sending out your graphics or to start outsourcing your graphics. Go to the Warrior Forum and look in Warriors for Hire. Start talking to someone about your graphics. Find someone who's at the right price and who can do the job the way you want it to be done. It's really vital, everyone, that you do follow this order. The number one thing that discourages people when they go through the product creation process, they get to the end and then they're just getting the work started, right? You might feel like, well, man, I created 30 videos and 15 PDFs, and now I'm ready to launch. But you're not even close to being launching. You're not even close to being done. When if you start a lot of this stuff before you get into that process, you will be motivated to complete the process to finish the launch. Does that make clear, everyone? Does that make sense to you? So if you get that, please put the number 1 in the question box if that makes sense to you. Okay, now once you have outsourced the graphics and you are in the product creation process, you should be setting up your sales pages. This should be happening at the same time. And we have gone through how you're going to set them up in Warrior Plus. We're going to get into some specifics tonight about your sales pages. You should be setting up your tracking. So if you have Google Analytics, if you have a click tracker, if you have some kind of plugin that tracks traffic to your website, set this up now when you're setting up your sales pages and you want to test your tracking, right? You want to test your tracking until you can verify that it's working correctly. And you can do that typically by going to the site or having people visit the site so that you'll know your tracking is actually working. The tracking is important because that's how you're going to be able to tell how you're doing, right? That's how you're going to be able to tell whether or not you should adjust something. So you have to set up the tracking kind of while you're in this process. Test the sales pages. Now at this point, you should be nearing the completion of your product creation process. You should be testing the sales pages and the order button. We're going to do some of that next week. You want to set up your product delivery then. So in other words, you should kind of be knowing where you're going to host your downloads, where you're going to deliver your downloads. You want to be careful even about using Amazon S3. If you have a fairly extensive launch, you have a lot of heavy files, you are going to get a bill and it's not going to come until the next month, right? And sometimes people get surprised by the size of a bill. Now again, Amazon is as cheap as they come, but when you're talking about downloading and you're talking about bandwidth, you do pay for bandwidth. And you can very easily get a $100 bill you were not expecting at the beginning of the month because you had your launch the month before, and you had all the files to download from Amazon S3. Again, in some cases, it's going to make the most sense. I had a scenario where that made sense last month. I had too many large files on my Microsoft server, and so when people came to that server and they started downloading stuff, Microsoft throttled the people who were trying to get to it in the middle of the launch, right? So I had to then go to Amazon S3. There was no choice I had. I switched everything to Amazon S3, and lo and behold, the next month I got a $200 bill, right, or $120 bill. And again, it wasn't the end of the world, but you don't want any surprises like that, especially when you have a launch. And then, of course, probably close to the last thing you're going to do before you actually hit the button to make your launch live, you want to make sure that your post-launch email system and strategy is set up. So in other words, whatever you're going to do to follow up, whatever you're going to do to make sure that people see all the upsells, whatever you're going to do to make sure people are being accommodated once they become part of your list, this is when you want to set that up. Right? Any questions? Are there any questions about the order of operations? And I like going over this every week because it's pretty important that you do things in this order. It will affect how fast, actually, that you finish your product. You believe that? Okay. So we're going to talk about tonight is setting up your sales pages. We have a lot to talk about. And now I don't really particularly care what page builder you use. I use OptimizePress. You may use InstaBuilder. It really doesn't matter with the things I'm going to be talking about. You have to know how to do these things in your page builder, right? So, I mean, I could show you how to do them in my page builder. It wouldn't help you any, but you really don't need all of that in order to do what I'm going to be telling you tonight. So let's talk about setting up your sales pages. Now, the first sales page you're going to set up is going to be your affiliate page. You might ask, now, why am I doing that? Well, you need to have a page that sells the affiliate on promoting your product. So that's really the first sales page you're going to create. I'll show you one that I have created. Again, it's not the most beautiful thing in the world. It's functional, though, right? I'll show you the one, and basically, I'll show you the elements that I think you need to have. Right, I'm going to stop this right here. Okay. Notice that I have a banner. Right. I have a banner at the top. Right. That's consistent with the product. I have a headline. Just as I would have a headline for a sales page, this is a sales page. Right. I'm just trying to sell my affiliates. So that sales page is going to have a headline. I've got a sales video, right? And every page builder is going to have space for one. And then I've got some dates there, and then I've got where they can get their affiliate link right here. Now, I'm going to tell you this. You could stop right there, and that'll be that's enough for an affiliate page. Does that make sense? So you don't need to have anything else. That's really all you need. A headline, the banner, and then the affiliate link. Now, I have some other things in here that I explain the funnel. I explain the product to them because some people, some affiliates want to know what the product is going to be about, right? Some don't care, right? But some do want to know what the product is about. And then I put the affiliate link back here. Because I'm delivering video, I give people, the affiliates, a sample, right? I give them a sample. I show them what the sales page, what I think the sales page is going to look like. Now, I may not know at that point, but I will put in there what I have. I will give them swipes. So in other words, I will give them emails to use. And I expect that the people that I would allow to promote, that they would not just take my swipes and just use them word for word. I hope not. But regardless, I do give them swipes for them to be able to use, and then I give them access to a bonus page. And so this is a bonus page that they can use in order to almost act as a bridge page. So in other words, they're going to send their visitors to the bonus page first. The bonus page is then going to be clickable to the sales page, right? So is everybody clear on where I am right now? So if you're clear on where I am right now, just talking about the JV page, please put the letter, put the number 2 in the question box. If you're with me on the JV page. Again, the JV page does not have to be fancy. It shouldn't be, right? All you need are the things that I have right here, right? They can look, and again, just make it look as professional as you can, and please do not try to make it look like anybody else's. Right, you will burn time that you do not have. Now, obviously, you want it to be presentable. Obviously, you want it to look professional as you can make it. So use your page builder. Keep things spaced out. But again, don't try to copy or imitate anyone. Get the basic information up there. And again, over time, you can start to tweak things. When when you're comfortable, when you know what affiliates want, you can start to tweak things. Okay, so that is your affiliate page. Now, the affiliate page actually has a couple of components. Right now, you notice here I have in my menu, I have a swipe email page. Right now, this feature is something that you can do in OptimizePress. And I'm pretty sure you can do it in other stuff too. But if you don't have this, don't worry about that. You can probably do it in other page builders in a different way. But you do want to make the swipes accessible to your JV partners. Okay, and then what I have here is I have the option for them to create their own bonus page, right? Let me show you what the bonus page is going to look like, I think. Okay, so here's the bonus page. Now, again, what am I trying to do with the bonus page? Okay, okay, does everybody understand the concept of a bonus page? Okay, the bonus page is basically my way of helping the affiliates to promote my product. So it is another sales page, and you are creating a sales page telling people what the bonuses are going to be, but you're not going to use this page. Your affiliates are going to use it. Now, you can use it. I've used mine in the past, but it's mainly for your affiliates. So they will be able to send traffic to the bonus page so that people can see it before they make a decision whether or not they're going to click onto the sales page or not. Right? Does everybody get that? Does everybody get the bonus page concept for the affiliates? Right? For the affiliates. So if you get that, right, please put the number 3 in the question box. You're creating a bonus page for your affiliates. If you don't get it, please ask away. Ask a question if you don't get the concept. Okay, so now in the bonus page, what am I doing? I'm talking about the product, right? Again, I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm telling them what the bonus is going to be. Now, what I do, and I don't know if everybody does this. This is just what I do. I personally do not necessarily always like all the different e-covers, to be on the bonus page that my affiliates are going to use in order to promote my product. And so what I do is I will go into Photoshop and I will create an e-cover for each bonus, right? So my e-covers, pretty much they're going to all look the same, and they are the same. They've got the different titles on there, but I am basically recreating and again, all this is just aesthetics, right? I'm only doing this for aesthetics. I'm doing this so that it looks uniform, so it looks professional. It looks like something that hopefully the people who are coming to this page would want to purchase. Right? Is everybody clear on that? What you're doing with the bonus page? Right? This is for the affiliates, again, to promote. Now, you should be able to go and put your hands on. I like to use 5 for the front end and 5 for the back end. And 3 I like to have on my page just in case I never see these bonuses. Now, when it comes to delivering the bonuses, sometimes I will give the affiliate a link to be able to deliver the bonuses, right? If they want it. Most of the time, though, I will deliver these bonuses in my own back office. Right? Does everybody get that? So does that make sense? So if you get that, please put the number 3 in the question box. So in other words, the affiliate's not going to deliver the bonus. They're not going to put it in their slot, right, for the bonus. I'm going to deliver the bonuses on my membership page, my download page, or in my back office. Right? Okay, so you can do your format can be however you want it. Right? You do not have to make yours look like mine. You don't have to make yours look like anything. All it really needs to do is needs to look clean. It needs to look like something that people actually want. That's all you really have to do in order to make it presentable. Okay, now, so we've talked about the swipe page and the bonus page, and we've kept the header. One of the things you're going to notice here is that this is something that I can do. I like to put my header across everything. And I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. And the main reason I like to do that is because I don't want people to be disoriented. And I want them to know it's all associated with the same thing. Okay, Chantel is asking if there's one way better than another. Do you mean in order to create a bonus page? Or when you say one way better than another, Chantel, what do you mean? Okay, and while she writes in that question, okay, so that's my bonus page. And again, I did all this from scratch. I did all this in OptimizePress. So you can use your page builder to build one from scratch. You don't have to use a template. If you want to use a template, use one. If not, don't worry about it. Just make it professional and clean. Put the basic information on there. Is there one way better than the other? I think so, Chantel. Honestly, I think you should deliver the bonuses rather than if I'm your affiliate. I think you should deliver the bonuses, and here's why. What you don't want is you don't want to get support requests saying, hey, you know, Charles, I bought this through Charles's link, and he said, and he was supposed to give these bonuses, and he didn't. Can you talk to him, or can I buy through somebody else's link? Can you just switch out from him, and you can avoid all of that by just delivering them yourself. Now, you can also, what you can do is you can deliver the bonuses, Chantel, and you can also give them to the affiliates. But I do not want any variables, I don't want any variables that are under anybody else's control during a launch. That's my personal opinion about that. Does that make sense? Okay, great. Okay, so let's go back here. Talked about bonuses, talked about swipes, we talked about the basic home page. Next sales page is the affiliate bonus page. You just saw that. Okay. Oh, now there is one thing that I do want to kind of tell you about this, is that some affiliates do not have WordPress and they don't want to use your bonus page. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have your bonus page converted to HTML, right? And you can typically have that done for, I mean, I know a guy that does it for me for $15, right? He's happy to get it. So it's not a lot of money. So if you have somebody who knows HTML, they can take this template or a template you have on WordPress or Lead Pages, wherever the case is, and turn that bonus page into something that's on HTML, because your customer or your affiliate may or may not use WordPress. They may like to use HTML, and you want to make it easy for them to promote. Now, for all this stuff, you can use an existing template on your page builder. You don't have to build it from scratch. The kind of the first thing you're going to do is going to be to set up the headline, right? To set up the headline. Then you're going to set up the sales video, and what I'm going to suggest is that once you record the video, you can host the video on YouTube, right? Host the video on YouTube. So even if you do a PowerPoint video, you can host the video on YouTube. Now, what I would suggest is that you have a channel that you're using that does not connect to your main channel. Right? If you're going to use a channel, I'm going to suggest that you use a channel separate from your main YouTube channel if you have one. So wherever you have your videos and all that stuff, if you don't want Google getting upset, or you don't want people reporting you or any of that stuff, don't mess with that channel. Do all of these things on a separate channel, right? Does that make sense, everybody? So again, do all your sales videos on one channel. Don't put them on your main channel. The video should autoplay, and now different video players are going to have different settings, but regardless, you should be auto-playing your video when somebody comes to the page. Now, I understand that sometimes that can be a hassle. Sometimes it can be, it may make a potential customer upset, but they can just click the page, right? So in other words, let me show you this again. I'll just pull up my. Okay, so let's say the video starts playing. Right? All they've got to do is click the video. So no, I don't put any controls on there. And you know, I could put the play button on there, but you want that video to autoplay in order to get your people listening. Right? It's really important, probably within the first few seconds, that you have something that will get them listening, even if you can't get them looking. Right? Get them listening, because people are distracted. And they can pull up a page, they can click on something. They're going to probably hear your voice first, right? They're probably going to hear your voice first. So make your voice the most prominent thing. All right. What you're going to do then is you're going to put some benefit bullets in there. It is standard among copywriting that you want to use an odd number of benefit bullets. So in other words, if you're going to have 12, write a 13th. And I don't know if there's something psychological about that or not, but try to have an odd number. And what you want to do is you want to make the last one bold, right? So if you didn't get that, please write that down. So again, with the benefit bullets, you want to have an odd number if possible. And the first one should be bold, and the last one should be bold, right? And again, I'm not entirely sure why that's the case, but it is common practice in sales copy, and I see no reason not to follow it, right? Any questions so far? Any questions about setting up your sales page? Any questions so far? If you have a question, please put the number 4 in the question box, or just write your question in there. Graphics. Now, hopefully, as I have said, you have already outsourced your graphics, right? You have already outsourced your graphics. At minimum, right, if you're going to have graphics outsourced, if you're on a budget, at minimum, you should have e-covers, right? You should have e-covers. Now, if you're doing resale rights, you must get graphics, right? Now, if you want to do them yourself, that's fine, but you have to have them. And if you're handy with if you're good with Photoshop, and you can create a good e-cover, that'll match all of the other stuff, then I say go for it. There's a program out there called eCover Authority that Chad Elgizer puts together. It's a very good program. I personally don't use it because I use Photoshop, not because it's not a great program. It's just redundant. I bought it when I was still making up my mind about Photoshop, and then I bought it, and then I bought Photoshop, and I just haven't used it. But I will say it's a great program. Chad stands behind it and improves it all the time. So if you're going to create e-covers yourself, use eCover Authority or Photoshop. Having banners, if you can have them, is important. And this is where I would start saying things like, have this outsourced. Again, unless you really do know how to create banners. What I would really highly suggest you do is focus on the JV process, focus on marketing, focus on the last parts of product creation. The graphics, and it's not that it's not important. It's just that you only have so much time during a launch, and you must work on marketing, right? Somebody has to do that part. And you know, I don't really have it in here for this course. Maybe I'll do an extra session, but you want to cultivate your relationships with your affiliates. And no, they're not going to all promote for you on a particular launch, but you want to be in contact with them. And you don't want to be in contact with them when your launch is coming. You want to be in contact with them in general, right? Is everybody clear on that? So when you're talking about do you have time to create banners, I'm going to say maybe, right? If you can have these outsourced, have them outsourced, and spend your time on the sales process. Is everybody clear on that? So if you get what I kind of went through just then, please put the number 4 in the question box if you get what I said, just about graphics and how you want to spend your time, because it's pretty important. Now, if you're a designer and you're good at this, I see no reason for you not to create your own graphics. You probably know what you want, but otherwise, you can probably get a decent set of graphics if you understand how to look to the warrior form. And I've done that on a number of occasions, and I'll probably do it again before this workshop is over, all 4 weeks. So we're talking about outsourcing. Okay, that's a great question. So Chantel asks, how do you stay in contact with your affiliates? Do you email them regularly? I would say, Chantel, that and this is actually a good question for a number of reasons. Number one, I'm not a Facebook person, right? I don't spend a lot of time posting. I mean, I'm trying to, but I just don't. But I typically talk to most affiliates through Skype and Facebook. Now, I have an application called, and it's the same one that's probably on the phone. I don't think it's anything special. It's just called messenger.com. Let me see if I can find it, if I can get it. Messenger.com. Okay, and so this these are all of my contacts in Facebook, and I'm talking to them in here, right? This is I'm literally talking to them through this application. Now I'm also using Skype, which you can also, there's a web browser edition of Skype. Okay, Skype for the web. So so even if you have to use your mobile device, or even if you have to, you don't want to be in Facebook, it's really kind of important that you be contacting them. And I would personally use Facebook Messenger and Skype. And because quite honestly, and I'm thinking about myself, if you were to email me, I really don't. There are very few emails I read, and the ones that I read are the folks in this group. I really don't. I mean, Sydney really handles all support, and so I don't do a lot of email reading, and I'm probably like most people. And I've emailed affiliates a number of times. I have an email list of affiliates, and I send out an email faithfully about my launch, and I get questions from the same people who are on that list. So I would say that you would want to have some kind of real-time communication, and if that's the case, then you're talking about Messenger, which is connected to Facebook, and Skype. Right? Does that make sense, Chantel? All right, great. Okay, your buy buttons. Buy buttons. Buy buttons are there are two ways to go with buy buttons. And one of the things that you want to be careful about with buy buttons is that when you're working with an affiliate network, they're going to give you buy buttons that you should use. And you want to use those buttons. And the reason that you want to use their buttons is because of the tracking and the affiliates. And so you want to get the buy buttons typically. If you're launching in JVZoo or Warrior Plus, get their buttons. And here's the reason why. If I'm your affiliate and I send traffic and you're making sales, and because you decided you wanted to use a fancy buy button, I don't get credit for the sale, I'm going to have a problem. Right? There's no way to sort it out. There's no way to make sense of it after that happens. So most of the people who are involved in our niche, the information marketing niche, they trust those buy buttons. You're not going to have a case where people are coming to the buttons and say, "Oh, I don't know about this." If you're selling to the information marketing niche, they all know JVZoo, they all know Warrior Plus, they all know Zaxa. So you don't have to try to hide the buy buttons or any of that stuff from your customers and from the traffic that your affiliates are sending. Right? Does that make sense? Okay, so please use the buy buttons that are given to you by and let me show you what I mean by that. Let me just show you. Okay, so I'm going to pull JVZoo open for right now. And you're going to notice something. You're going to notice that when you set up the sales funnel, there are going to be buy buttons associated with the sales funnel. Right? And you have to get these buttons. If you go and get the buttons from the regular product, your affiliates are not going to get credited. Right? You have to get this. So especially if you're going to have these affiliates send you traffic. So you set up your sales funnel, you get the buttons associated with the sales funnel. Is that clear? Is everybody clear on that? So that makes sense to you. Please put the number 5 in the question box. Okay, I want to show you the same thing. I want to show you the same thing in Warrior Plus. Because we're working in Warrior Plus, and I want you to know what this looks like. All right, so remember we did this offer, and okay, great. Okay, yep, Chantel, here we go. So let me go back and do JVZoo first. Okay, do you see this link that says buy buttons? Right, do you see this link that says buy buttons? I'm going to click that link. And then I'm going to grab the code. Right, so this code, when I put it on the page, is going to be the buy buttons. Okay, great. So now the same thing pretty much with Warrior Plus. Right, I'm going to grab the code, and that's my button. I can customize it, right? I can make it transparent. I can make it buy now, subscribe, free download, free trial, custom, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this code. I'm going to put that on my sales page wherever I can put HTML. Right? Is everybody clear on that? Okay, great question. So when Chantel's question is, do the affiliates automatically connect to this? One part of the process that I have not gone over with you yet is that when you're setting up your offer, right, you are going to set up an affiliate sign-up page. Do you see that? You see that link, Chantel? Where I've got my cursor? Okay, right. So I'm going to set up this offer in Warrior Plus, and then I'm going to say generate this link for my affiliates. And when I give this link to my affiliates, they're going to have a link where they can apply to promote this product, right? And then I can choose whether or not I approve them or not. So once I approve them as my affiliate, they will connect then with that button when they send traffic. But they can't send traffic to that link until I approve them. They will not even be given a link. Let me see. You know what? It's easier for me to show you. Let me show you if I was somebody else's. If I'm gonna apply for somebody else's. Okay, so let's say that I want to promote this one. Let's see. Now I've already requested this one, so let's see this. Okay, so I requested this one. I get the link, and this is where I get my link. Right? When I get my link, I'm going to send traffic to this link, and it's going to automatically go to the sales page. Okay, so you see there he's got the button there. But yes, this is where I connect with the button. So I've got to be approved as an affiliate. I've got to send traffic to this link, and then I get connected to that button. Okay, great. Okay, good. Okay, does anyone have any questions about that? About the affiliate process? That was actually a great question, Chantel. I appreciate that. Any other questions about that? Okay, upsells. I talked about this a little bit before, and I just want to mention this again. And this is my preference, right? This is my preference. If I'm going to have a front end and I'm going to have an upsell, I like to keep the same banners and the same footers, right? Same banners, same footers. Now I'll show you this because I think that if you do this, you will not disorient people, right? Okay, so there's my front end, there's my back end. Okay, so there we go. So the banners, I keep consistent. And I think that if you can possibly do it between your front end and your upsell, you want to try to keep the graphics consistent and try to keep the banners consistent, because what you're trying to do is you're making a connection between the front end and the upsell, right? You can, and it's hard to do that if you have a totally different theme, right? And all this stuff happens in the background of people's minds. So they're not consciously making the decision, they're not consciously disoriented, but when you put two different sets of graphics from the front end to the upsell, you were disorienting people. You're sort of taking them out of their order. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to accelerate the process of buying. You will slow it down if you disorient them. Right? So that makes sense. If you get that, please put the number 6 in the question box. All right, very good. So adding in testimonials, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but you want to have those in there when you can get them. Exit pop. The exit pop is optional. If you don't feel good about doing an exit pop, typically you're going to be able to do that with your page builder. There's a setting in Optimize Press where I can do that and send people to another page. But again, that is not necessarily, that's not mandatory that you have to do one. There's also the popover, and I do want to show you this. Let's see if I can find the page here. Okay, so here's Aweber, right? Here's Aweber. And so what you want to do is you want to use this setting in Aweber that says popover, lightbox, or pop-up. And in the same way that you place this code on a page, when you place the popover code, then this is going to give you that pop over the web page. You can actually do a lightbox or you can do a pop-up, right? Most autoresponders have this. GetResponse has this, right? We can do popover or scroll form or embed it, right? Any question about that? Okay, so that's it for the sales pages this week. And when you're setting up your sales page, the content is important. The content of your sales letter is important. Everything that I just mentioned to you is I don't want to say it's equally as important, but it's very important, right? All these things are very important. You can't leave any of these things out that I just said out of trying to get ready for a launch. These are all the things that you should be doing, I'd say, almost concurrently with your product creation, right? Don't leave any of this stuff to the end, right? By the time you get done with your product, you should be done with this stuff too, right? So try to be done with this stuff as you finish your product. And I don't want to overwhelm you, but here's what's going to happen if you don't do that. You're going to get to the end of the product creation process, and you are going to have a list of things this long, and you're going to say, "Oh my goodness, I don't feel like doing all this stuff." And the reason I can tell you is I can tell you from experience and from having talked to a number of different marketers. You leave this stuff to the end, you will probably not launch. You'll have products that are sitting on your hard drive that you completed, but you will not launch them because this stuff will overwhelm you at the end of the process. All right? Okay, so any questions? Any questions? Okay, so let's see. It is about 9:26, so we're at a good breaking point. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about upload and delivery next week, and then putting buy buttons on your page and getting ready to sell. Right? So with that, I think we are really just about done here. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know what they are. And if not, hopefully this has been helpful for you, and you will be able now to kind of deliver a product and not and finish the process, right? The stuff that I just showed you is typically the stuff that you don't see. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to break here, and we're going to go on to week 4.